Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
It's radio's version of crumbs at the bottom of the chip bag. The AOO Show on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5 FM, streaming on irlonestar.com and available wherever you get your podcast from. I am Andrew, next to the man who doesn't want his fingerprints taken. It's Virginia Tonsil Stuff Schisler.
What's wrong with not wanting my fingerprints
Keeping
taken?
the identity safe, I suppose.
Well, I mean,
flying under the radar.
Well, it sounds idiotic to say it. I think it's one of those scenarios where I was like, why do you need it? Like, I understand certain, like, if I get arrested, totally get it.
Says someone who's up to something.
But, I mean, you know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like that day
Right.
old when you're growing up saying, like, your dad's always like, oh, don't give everyone your social security number.
Right.
But then you encounter certain circumstances like, why do you need my social security number for this? That's odd.
Right. No, I get it. You're just, again, a little suspicious of the man.
No, if anybody asking for that, it'd have to be
You
just
wouldn't,
the man.
you wouldn't give me your prints? You don't know what I'll
No.
do with them.
No, like if I went to Six Flags and got a season pass, and
In
like,
theory.
hey, we need your fingerprints. I'd be like, well, I'm not getting a season pass then, because that sounds ridiculous.
Okay, what would you give your fingerprints for then?
Well, I mean, I had to give him for a driver's license, so
Okay, so
clearly
driver's
I
license,
was okay
okay.
with it. I just thought it was really odd. Like, why would you need my fingerprints?
So anything outside of that scenario, though, you ain't doing.
Well, I think it's a level of, well, it's a two-way street. They need to explain why they need it, and then I need to understand the level of that need. So, for example, if they say, oh, it's so for us to identify your body, or whatever.
Okay, yes.
I'm like, well, then why don't you just get my dental records and my blood records?
Like,
Because
I'm getting sent to the body farm anyways. I don't care.
well, no, I mean, like, oh, if I burn in my car, you're not gonna get my fingerprints, like.
Well, this is true.
So I still don't know why they need, like, she couldn't give me a good answer, and I didn't like that. Like,
It's to have you on record, man. That's what it is. Speaking of security, that reminds me, I found an old gift card the other day, and I wanted to verify the balance on it. So I
Yeah.
went to like vanillagift.com or whatever, put in the number on the card and everything like that. And at the end, it's wanted to verify that I wasn't a robot. You ever had these things where it's
Yeah,
like
the
select
CAPTCHA.
all the
Yeah.
select all the squares that have traffic lights in them, and I hate the ones where it's just this tiny little fraction of a light in the corner of a square, and you're like, does that count? I don't know. But this one was odd because it said, select the species with the heaviest weight.
Oh, I bet you'd love that because you use stupid questions. I almost
was
said
like-
it. Stupid questions like that all the time.
And I'm like, wait, what? The species with the heaviest weight. And there were pictures of like penguins and polar bears. So it was obvious that one was going to weigh more than the other.
Yeah.
But that was really odd. So I selected all the polar bears, and it didn't work. I couldn't get through. It kept saying there was an error. So I still don't know. I could have millions of dollars on this gift card, or I could have zero.
Well, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
well.
That's a
But
crazy.
security, but
sounds
they
like
didn't
your-
take my prints.
Sounds like your New Year's was really exciting.
Rock and roll. This is our second show in 2024. I think the last episode was a perfectly good example of why we tend to not record shows out of order. While it was a great show, we did reference quite a few things that either didn't happen or I talked about things I had already talked about. So last week's show, kind of an odd one, great show, but we're going to try and keep things a little bit more linear this year.
Yeah, shoot.
Oh, wow.
Well,
But
because if
we were
the
money
audience
anyways.
didn't know, this is actually the true after New Year's show because I was out of town for New Year's.
Yeah.
And we decided to go ahead and pre-record the show for the 3rd.
Right.
And
then we had to go back and insert a show for the end of December, and that show was money
somebody
as well.
screwed up the audio.
Hey, look, I'm not pointing fingers.
Somebody screwed up the audio. But yeah, now it is 2024.
Yeah, man.
We got the calendar up.
Are you talking about the
Yeah,
gift
the
I gave you?
first poop dog calendar
Aw.
picture is up.
What you need to do is name each dog, right, based on what you
No,
think.
I'll name each crap.
Okay, whatever. Based on what it looks like, you'll have every month the dog or the crap will have a name, and you'll need to give me the name every month. This will be a nice gig throughout the year.
I like it. But yeah, it's kind of exciting. It's January. I went to Six Flags in San Antonio, and I haven't been to an amusement park in, I don't know, 10, 20 years. Nothing's really changed.
Right, ever since the incident. Continue.
Yeah, the incident. Yeah, the crap incident. No, but nothing.
Wait, I thought this was one where you removed your pants. You're talking about the crap. Okay, never mind. I get all your
I lost my
incidences
pants that
confused.
one time.
Yeah.
So that's what I
My
didn't
bad.
get in that much trouble.
Okay, got it.
But no, I surprisingly didn't get naked this whole weekend.
Man.
So that's
Dude,
good.
you
Good
are
on
growing
me.
up right before my eyes.
But I will say that Six Flags hasn't changed at all.
Isn't that funny?
It's really strange.
Yet it's
to
still
me.
amazing.
Well, I mean, the roller coasters are awesome. I love roller coasters.
Yeah.
You know what's ironic though, and I
What's
don't know
that?
if this is an old age thing. The only roller coaster I legit got nervous on was the one where it's two little people like swings, and it goes really high up and it just goes really slow. But like for some reason,
Do your feet dangle?
yeah, your feet dangle and you're in
Yeah.
this cheap little seat.
Right.
And I'm thinking like we're going too slow. I need to go real fast so I don't see anything. And because I could see everything. And I was like, I'm way up here and this is too high. And
Yeah.
that's like, I actually had that sense of fear of like, I'm too high. This is bad.
This might be
But-
the first bit of old age.
But like
starting
every
to creep
other
in.
ride we went on, like the Supermans
Yeah.
and all that, I was like, let's do it. Like,
Yeah, when you're young, you just don't even think about
like
those
that
things.
stuff's fun to me. Like dropping straight down, going 100 miles an hour or whatever.
Right. Death could be around every corner.
I'm
That's
totally
so
cool with it.
entertaining. So entertaining.
But going around a little circle on a little swing, going like 4 miles an hour, and it's just like this little chain. And you're like, this isn't gonna work.
I hope they put some WD-40 on that thing before
But,
the ride. You need to put some in your pocket.
That's so
just in
funny
case,
to
because
me.
WD-40 fixes everything.
But yeah, so that was interesting, and all the rides were fun. And one thing I do like now with technology, you can have the Fast Pass, and you can have an app that tells you the wait times. And I don't know how they know the wait times. I wonder if it's just like a camera or something. I was kind of curious. I was watching like every ride we went on because how accurate the wait times were. Because some rides were like an hour, but then some rides were like 7 minutes.
So, did you relieve yourself in the line, or were you
No,
able to hold
I
it?
refused to be in a line for more than 20 minutes. I told my buddy.
That's pretty cool. So it tells you beforehand.
Yeah, like you just
how
go
long.
on the
Yeah,
app
that's
and
pretty
it's-
neat.
But I didn't know if it was accurate or not because it's like,
You're
how
like,
do you?
all right, this is a doo-doo line over here for sure. This one's 20 minutes.
But yeah.
I think I can hold it.
But I'm
Got
not
it.
like I'm not gonna wait in line for an hour to ride a ride for 3 minutes. Like
Nope.
I'd rather ride that one ride 6 times.
Correct.
And then
Because even if it's kind of mid, right, as the kids say, 6 mid rides, it's got to equal 1 good ride, you would think. At least you're doing something.
well, yeah, well, I think what's interesting too is their newer rides they had there weren't even. I would even consider roller coasters. I would consider them like high-end carnival rides.
Nice. They had wheels on them?
Well, no, like they just swung,
Or do you mean,
or they
okay.
just pushed.
Or do you mean based off the guy who was admitting you into the ride because he looked like he was in a carny?
No, it's like they had the Batman Joker
Because they have a
there.
look, you know.
They had the Batman Joker ride, and all it was just literally you're in a circle around like a dish, and they just swing the dish back and forth.
How exciting.
And I'm like, that looks not as much fun
Yeah.
as this one where you're going upside down, getting flipped
Yeah.
around, and yeah.
I don't do any of them anymore, man. Like I said, I'm kind of over that. Hey,
Over it?
Yeah, just over it.
What do you mean you're over it?
I never got that much enjoyment out of them when I was a kid. Now that I'm adult, I get virtually no enjoyment out of them.
Really?
And
do
so
you,
I just,
have you ever like been in a car that goes over 140 miles an hour?
I mean, I'm sure, yes. Have I been over 140? No, but the car will go. It has
We
to
never.
go.
That's what I meant. I asked you.
No. I have not been in a car over 140 miles an hour.
Have you ever jumped off like a 12-foot cliff,
Not on purpose, I suppose.
like
maybe
into the
on-
water?
Yeah, so I have jumped off, maybe not 12 feet, but probably 8 to 10. Had a buddy of mine had a house right there on the Guadalupe River. Yeah, and he had a cliff, and we would jump off of it in college. Perfectly safe, but it was not 12 feet, and that was about as high as I wanted to do.
Yeah, because 12 feet is really high.
Yeah,
and I accidentally fell off an 18-foot cliff one time.
Oh my, accidentally.
Yeah, well, it was one of those things where, like everyone they had like a jumping area,
Right.
so it wasn't just like one little thing you can jump off of. So it was like the major cliff, and we were walking, and I was walking alongside that, because I wanted to get in the center of it, and I just slipped.
Oh my!
And then I was like, "Oh, I'm falling," and I shoved off. And
Yeah,
I was
to give
fine.
yourself some distance.
Yeah, I was fine, but it was just
Scary, though, man.
Oh, it was funny.
And it feels like an eternity before you hit that water, doesn't it?
Well, not really, because I was going like head first.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah, I know, man. And I was like, because you don't really, when you're jumping, you're looking, you're like, okay, I got it.
Yeah,
I got
dove.
this.
I
This is
dove.
when I accidentally slipped. So I was like,
Oh, out of control.
Uh-oh.
I dove one time, meaning with my head first, and I closed my eyes. I had my contacts in, and even though I had my eyes closed, the pressure of that water hitting my eyeballs pushed my contacts
Oh, that's awesome.
back behind
So when you
my
came
eyes.
up, you're...
Oh, I couldn't see anything, and it took a while for them suckers to come back down.
that's intense.
It was terrible. Hey, man, I got some really exciting
Well,
news.
the reason I wanted to ask you those questions
yes.
is like, so do you have any thrills in your life today?
No, man, that's what happens when you get old. The thrill is gone.
Really?
Yeah, nothing.
I thought that was just...
No, man, this show is the thrill for me. Why do you think? Why do you think
man.
I'm behind this mic once a week, entertaining the onesies? It's my
I
thrill.
love it. I love
No,
it.
you know
Okay.
what my thrill was? I had an exciting event happen to me on the way back from the Hill Country over the holidays. I saw a Cybertruck.
Like, was it actually moving?
Yeah. We were on opposite sides of the highway, so, we passed each other fairly quickly. But no denying that's what it was. I screamed, "Oh, look, a Cybertruck!" And, of course, my daughter turns around. My wife goes, "Why are you yelling?" I'm like, "Because it's a Cybertruck, They're big. It's awesome. So I immediately pulled the pistol out and started shooting at it. Immediately. And, yeah, you know what? It did appear as though the bullets bounced off. So, touche, Mr. Musk. You have created a bulletproof car, as far as I can tell. No, I didn't shoot at it, but I wanted to.
That's weird.
And it does look ridiculous. It's massive, and
That's cool.
Yeah, but it looks but as far as I know, there's only 12 of them on the road, or at least there was when they were first released. So I'm wondering who this person was, because you got to be somebody to get one of the first ones released.
I
Or
thought like a lot of them were.
have they now? Maybe. I mean, it's only been out a couple of weeks, so
Well, it's not like they release like 2 a week.
I don't know how many. Well, the original first 12, I was just 12.
Oh,
But since
okay.
then, I don't know. But still, he must be somebody. All right, man, did you hear the biggest news of the week? Last week.
No.
The game Tetris has finally been beaten. Were you a Tetris player?
It's been beaten 3 times now.
Since that little kid did it?
Yeah.
Just last week?
I think this is all a ruse.
Oh, well, okay, so maybe this is, I've got some stories in a good order then. So you think this is...
Well, I mean, like, because I get the whole, like, people manipulated the game to break the game, so they never really beat it. And
Right.
then there's different versions that are, like, qualified
There
versions.
are over 200 different versions of Tetris that have been made. And this particular one was the NES version, the Nintendo system, which I played as a
the
kid.
NSTC version, too, so the North America or whatever, so it's not PAL.
Do you remember your high level when you played, how far you could get?
How many lines?
Yeah.
I want
lines, levels, whatever it
So
is.
here's a funny story for you for the Tetris people. So we growing up, I
All right,
used
sit
to
down, Tetris people. Here comes a story.
growing up, I used to go on road trips with my family, and I have 5 brothers and sisters. And I kid you not, we got a Game Boy,
Yep.
and that's like
I think that was like the original one Nintendo released.
the
and then they put it
original
on
Game Boy, right?
the regular Nintendo. Mm-hmm.
And that had to be shared among 4 boys.
Oh, yeah.
and
What
2
could go
girls,
wrong?
right?
Yeah.
Well, clearly my mom was like, you know what? I don't want you guys doing this anymore. I'm taking it.
Uh-oh. I
And
know
my
what's coming.
mother has never been a video game person. She actually refuses to purchase, like growing up, she refused to
They're of
purchase
the devil.
video games for like Christmas.
She wants you to go outside and touch
and
grass.
We can have them.
I get it.
And ironically, this is a side story. Ironically, she let me play any game I wanted as long as I paid for it.
She was really into the first-person shooter, though, I bet.
Well, no, I remember getting.
I think you need to have this experience.
I remember buying Resident Evil 2 when I was like 10. And the guy was like, "You sure you want to buy this for your son?" And I played the first
Everyone
one.
who plays this is disturbed afterwards.
And it's
That's fine.
and
He
she-
paid for it himself.
Yeah, legit. And I'm not kidding you, man. Like looking back at it now, it's like all the Grand Theft Autos and everything.
It's all making sense now, people. It's all making sense now.
But she knew what the game was. She watched me play Resident Evil,
But
the
then
first
she got,
one.
She got hooked on Tetris, though, is what you're saying.
So she got hooked on Tetris.
Love it.
And Dr. Mario and Tetris.
Mama
which is
Schisler
the
loves
same.
Tetris.
She got hooked on it, and then ever since then, we talk a lot of smack, and I think the highest lines I ever gotten on top of my head was like at least 100. Like that was the goal for me. Is like I just got to hit 100 lines, and then I'm like I'm good. And I think like 120, 130 or whatever.
I remember being fairly good at the game, at least compared to my friends. I'm not like I'm saying I was really awesome at the game, but I would routinely get to 75, 80 lines. That was pretty much a good game for me. But there were a few times I did get right around the 100, 105 level, but it gets so fast that it's almost impossible to do. Well,
especially
this
on
kid
a crappy Game Boy.
is a 13-year-old from Oklahoma who got to 157. So you can imagine 100 being great. 50% more of that is what this kid got.
Did he do the double roll trick?
I don't know what that is. Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA select start.
There's this technique, and I'll try to do the best way I can describe it to the audience.
And I'll try.
So if you remember the way the NES controllers were, so like you have your controller and you have your
correct. You got your up, down, left, right, and your A and your B.
So with this, what you would do is in Tetris, you have to click each move to move your dealio. Yep. So to move it faster, you would flip it upside down, push it against your fingers like this, and use your other hand to hit so you can double roll. So if you want to like triple tap, if you want to triple tap, so it goes.
Now you're telling me this 35 years too late.
Yeah, dude.
Daggone. That's pretty cool. I did it just the regular way.
I knew a guy. Man, there's some weird weirdos out there. But yeah, that's a technique.
So it apparently took him 38 minutes to do. He recorded the entire thing. 13-year-old. His name is Willis Gibson. So congratulations, Willis Gibson. Now, the thing is, he didn't really technically beat the game because the game doesn't end. And I guess what they're saying the end of the game is basically when the memory of the machine cannot continue to produce enough lines fast enough that it basically crashes. And that is, in theory, beating the game. And no one has apparently ever been able to do that with this version of Nintendo until now. Pretty cool, but he says he was so excited. He's like, I can't breathe. I can't feel my fingers. I'm like, sounds like dick on a date, but hey, you and this kid have something in common.
Yeah, I mean, that's you know how hard that is to do that?
Yeah, right. And as I'm
I'm talking about going on a date. I mean, come on, no.
While playing Tetris.
That would be.
But yeah, congratulations to this little 13-year-old boy. Although you said now it's been beaten a couple of times.
Yeah,
since
I think
then.
I want to say
funny.
Yeah,
I bet you this is done as some sort of promotion. You think is this all a coordinated event? They've got some new version
of
coming out.
The Tetris movie already came out. So
yeah, they've made a Tetris movie.
Well,
what could possibly be?
It was an interesting story because it had to do with Russians during the Cold War, so it had something to do with Russians.
Okay, all right. Are you ready for the AOO Sports Minute? Because we are Montgomery County's go-to sports authority here. Are you ready? Did you hear what happened during the Sugar Bowl on ESPN last week? The Sugar Bowl between Washington and your Texas Longhorns.
My Texas Longhorns.
Yeah, so apparently this was held in New Orleans at the Sugar Bowl, and apparently during one of the breaks, they did a not a man on the street, but a shot of the crowd, and wouldn't you know, someone flashed a boobie.
Okay.
How uncontrollable and out of character for the New Orleans and Bourbon Street, if it was indeed on Bourbon Street. Okay, no big deal. ESPN is technically cable, right? So they're not going to pay any fines for this. Well, this woman apparently now is being sought after, okay?
Well, no kidding. It's the creepy internet.
Right, well, yeah, exactly. But again, in some sort of weird, I don't know, ploy for attention, an adult website is offering her $100,000 for a 1-hour performance, I guess. I don't know what this is. And I'm thinking to myself at first, how stupid is this? First of all, it's an unnamed woman. It was a quick flash of like one little boob, I guess. First of all, do you even know that she has two boobs? We only saw one. Right? They offered her, and I guess if she had flashed both, would she have been offered $200,000? I don't know, but
she has to negotiate. She'd be an idiot not to negotiate.
Well, we don't even know who she is, and I thought this was really stupid. But then I got to thinking about it. It's kind of genius on this adults. I don't even know what they're called.
So it's not that much of a
Cam Soda. Never heard of them before.
Let's look it up.
Now I would not look them up on city infrastructure, but it's kind of genius on their part because one, we're talking about it right now. And even if they never find this woman, if this woman has no interest in doing it, they don't have to pay the $100,000. But yet they've gotten their name out. We're talking about it. People are talking about it. I'm sure there's other radio shows and whatnot talking about it as well. So from that standpoint, it's pretty genius. So I got to thinking about how could AOO leverage this type of concept here.
Well, clearly you're not.
Although we don't have
paying
100K.
attention. You're not paying attention to the stream world of Twitch.
No, I'm not.
So recently they had their content policy change because Twitch originally started out as a video game streaming.
Yeah, you watched other people play video games. Sounds riveting.
Well, how do you think people watch the Tetris deal?
I don't know, man.
How do you think I learned the role?
I don't know, man. I don't watching other people play video games sounds extraordinarily boring.
People watch people play chess.
I know.
So
I said this to me, just my opinion.
okay.
Continue.
Yeah, you have no thrills in your life.
Nope, that's right. We've already established that.
But no, and then now, not now, but in the past decade, they had all other channels called like Just Talk.
Uh-oh.
So
you know what happens on there. Very little talking.
Well, you can imagine what kind of people are hosting those kind of talks and what they're wearing.
Oh.
And so when they changed their content policy, if I remember correctly, it was like now what they have a thing is you can't be nude, and if there is nudity, there has to be a bar.
Okay.
So, but what the ladies were doing was they were putting the bar just enough,
right?
And but the funny part is they weren't even naked. They were wearing like certain clothing.
They don't have to.
They don't have to now.
Right, yeah. It's an illusion,
and
everyone.
And then, so people are like, this is even better, like more hilarious, because people are paying for knowing that they're not nude, but it makes it look like they're nude because there's a bar across their chest.
Yeah, of course. It's all about the theater of the mind. Vice President of Cam Soda, Darren Parker, shared a statement announcing the deal. One could argue that she was the real MVP of the game last night. We see lots of breasts on our platform, but these certainly caught our eyes. How stupid.
Well, I mean,
so dumb.
Who
cares?
Just talking about this got me thinking, and I wonder if you can today put a value on what do you call it, like going viral.
Yeah, this is 100K. They put a value on it.
That's what I'm saying. Like they put 100K. They sat in that office and go, "Hey, that lady flashed her boobie.
Yeah.
Like we need to offer her money just to make a statement. Like, how much money do we really have?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I guess they do have to be prepared to actually pay it.
And then it's like, and how much money do we actually can pay this person to actually if they commit to it? And I'm sure they came up with that number.
They came up with that number somehow. I haven't seen it, nor do I care to. But from what I've heard, it was just the camera was panning so fast, it's blurry. It's why no one knows who she is because it was blurry, basically. So yeah, they're really reaching here for some attention.
It just makes me. I wonder about that kind of stuff because, especially with the people who now are famous because of social media, and how because I was reading this thing about The Rock, and how The Rock basically is going to be like never in trouble because he knows his stick isn't strong enough. Like his whole his like
shtick.
Yeah, his whole thing.
Right.
Because he is a wrestler at his heart, and wrestling isn't just only certain people like that. Not he wants to be like a global brand.
Yeah, which he essentially is.
So now that's what I'm saying. He's trying to maintain this persona of like he'll never choose politically what to say, never be in a scenario of whatever. Like he's really, to me, he's extremely fake. Like everything he talks about is fake, because he's putting on a persona. But I was thinking of like,
sounds like audience of one.
Yeah, true. But then you get these people who are social media influencers. I don't even know most of them. But then when you talk about celebrity baseball games, and I'm like, he's a YouTuber? Like I don't really know what's going on with that. And I was just wondering how much value there is.
I don't know, and I think the definition of celebrity has changed. I mean, to me, I still think, in my personal old man opinion, who doesn't have thrills in life anymore, I think you have to be traditionally famous for me to consider you famous. I'm sorry, internet famous just isn't famous to me.
Here's you and your thrill.
Okay, here I am.
It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. You're like, gotta get up and go to work.
Yep.
Get in your car, turn it on, turn on your music, and you're sitting there in traffic.
In my Cybertruck, right?
And you go, man, if I go to the right lane, it might be a little better. It might be a little better. Traffic might be a little better in the right lane. Oh, I'm going to try it. And you sit there. Mm-hmm. You're looking for your opportunity, and you take it. You cut this guy off. And you're like, all right, I'm in the right lane. Great. and then you get a little bit further ahead in traffic,
And then the left lane moves.
and then you get that rush. You're like, that was so thrilling.
Oh, that's my dopamine
that's
kick
your
for the day.
dopamine kick. Is you took a chance
Well,
to try another lane in
got me.
traffic, and it actually worked
got me.
out, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, that was so good. That was so good. Oh, that's what you were doing. You're like in the car, like, blah, blah, blah.
Yes, I changed lanes.
There you go.
You found me out. Well, from Fox News, a Tesla engineer, or they're reporting that a Tesla engineer was reportedly the victim of a bloody attack by, not Elon, not another employee, but a robot factory worker. It's all happening, Dick. The robots are taking over. They are fighting back. So reports revealed that a 2021 injury, so this happened a couple of years ago, claims that a robot designed to move aluminum car parts pinned an engineer against a surface and dug its metal claws into his back and arm, according to witnesses who spoke to Fox News. Now, I when I first heard this, I'm picturing, again, the big type robot going over and just attacking with like red beady eyes. I will get you. But I'm wondering how much of an attack this was, and more of, I think the engineer was in the way. Right? That robot is designed to move, pick up. He got in the way, and that robot said, I think you're a package, and grabbed this guy and picked him up and threw him onto the chute. And of course, they said it left a trail of blood. Whoa. Yes, I know. They got to embellish the story somehow. So what say you there, man? You think this was an attack by a robot that was trying to move his way up in the company?
Well, if I was the guy,
or show some dominance?
I would 100% say that, and I'd just sue them and be like, your robot attacked me.
I would say the same thing too, but that's what they're reporting. The robot is attacking. I'm telling you, man, this is the start of the war. This is how wars begin. Small skirmishes like this, other robots hear about it, and it all begins. They start to generate that into their AI system, attacking humans. They now know it's a possibility to do. See, before, they didn't even know they could attack humans. Now they're like, oh, we can do this?
And get away with it?
And get away with it. I'm telling you, it's all happening.
How do you know if the war hasn't already started?
It just did. I'm reading the story
I'm
right
saying
now.
like 10 years ago.
It may have. I just wasn't aware of it. I'm aware of it now.
Yeah.
I have been awokened to the situation.
Wouldn't it be kind of hilarious that all these smart cars, and in like 10 years, everyone's driving one of these smart cars that the government wants us to drive or whatever, and then Skynet comes on, and everyone in their car, they like buffalo run us off a cliff?
There is that fear. I've heard that they can just control the cars, turn certain things off and on, or they could just shoot you right off the edge of the cliff. But you would like that.
I think that'd be pretty funny.
You just demonstrated you like flying off cliffs, so.
That'd be pretty funny, I think.
Yeah. All right. In a sad story before the break here, the news broke right before the new year that our friends at Ingenious Brewery have called it quits. Cue the Green Day Time of Your Life song. Yeah, it sucks, man. Apparently, this is not just Ingenious that is suffering. A lot of the craft beers and craft brew companies, ever since COVID, have really been struggling. And it says now the apocalypse is now that apparently a lot of these craft brew companies are going to start closing the doors.
I think this is just me talking out of my butt. Is COVID started the wave, and then people are like, is it even worth it?
Yeah.
Because like I was reading that some guy just bought Southern Star Brewery.
Well, then he must be in a good position financially. And
that's what I'm saying.
Some of them are going to survive, right? There's some that are going to fall off and some that are going to survive. And so maybe he's thinking, I'll be one of the lucky few.
I don't know.
I don't know either. But R.I.P. to Ingenious Brewery. You know, it's the one brewer we had on here. And
the kiss of death.
Yeah. So Matt Black, thank you. You are welcome to come back.
Maybe it was good we didn't
anytime.
have the beer mile people on because someone might have died at their next race, and it's because they were on our show.
I don't know how that has anything to do with anything. What do you
because
mean?
you said we had only one brewer on our show. I'm like, yeah, it's the kiss of death.
Got it. We're the ones who did it. Sorry, I didn't put two and two together.
God.
Oh, man, I'm sorry. All right, man, this is a good time to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about flipping people the bird. We'll be right back, onesies. Audience of One, Wednesdays at 10 a.m. right here on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5. Listen to the brain droppings of local hosts, me, Andrew Belshner, along with the jewel of Montgomery County radio, Dick Schisler. Topical musings, news stories, oddities, or just weird conversations that we normally have with ourselves, all mixed together with the occasional guest. You can also find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts.
And we're back with Audience of One here on Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and of course worldwide at irlonestar.com. We're here every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on Podcast Anywhere, YouTube, Facebook. Just look up Lone Star Community Radio, Audience of One show. Don't forget, it is a nonprofit. So you can donate and sponsor today. More information, irlonestar.com. And it is Wednesday. Not really, because we're recording.
Close enough.
But it's the beginning of January, so we're having fun. I'm going to turn you up. I'm talking. I'm talking now. But yeah, I'm still recovering, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know if it's the holidays at the bowling alley, where I have to deal with like probably 15,000 more people than usual.
Yeah.
But
also approaching the big 4-0, buddy. Doesn't help.
Well, it's not even that. It's more of, you have to adjust to your schedule. And working at the alley, I've realized like I'm turning into not a morning person now, and I don't like that. I used to be somewhat of a morning person.
Yeah, you said when we first started the show that you routinely got up like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and
I thought,
now I'm
that
getting
sounds
up.
terrible.
I'm getting up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, but then
You mean getting in?
no, I'm getting up, but then I'm like, I can sleep a little bit more, and that little bit more turns into like 2 hours, 3 hours, and I'm like, and then I wake up even more tired. But let me tell you something about the holidays and kids. One thing I've learned,
Yes.
and I'm shocked, like I still can't comprehend this, is that how many parents do not know their children's shoe sizes. Like it is, and what I like,
That's because it's constantly changing, Dick. I think that's the
No,
problem.
I know,
As someone
but-
who's raised a few children, they do grow and change.
no, I get that, but what I love is I wish I could film every reaction to my question. Because first of all, you're going to a bowling alley, so you're gonna know you're gonna get bowling shoes. Like it's good. Like that kind of goes hand in hand.
Typically.
But here's my what do you want to call it? My impersonation of it. So I want you're the guy working at the bowling alley, right?
Hello, welcome to ABC Bowling Alley, and how may I help you?
We would like to bowl 3 games, please.
All right, that will be $15.95 per person for all 3 games. What size shoe do you guys need?
Shoes.
Yeah, bowling shoes. You have to have shoes when you bowl, and those will be $4.95 a piece. How many feet do you have?
Like they look down at their feet.
They look down at their feet as if the
they're
number's
like-
going to be right on top of the shoe.
Oh man, it's so funny to me. And then what I love is the parents who, when they don't know their kids' shoe sizes, they ask the children to take off their shoes, and the child is like, "What did I do wrong? Why am I taking off my shoes?"
Yeah,
and so it becomes
because they don't know. The kids, if they're little,
Yeah,
you ask them,
they-
hey, take off your shoes. Why?
Yeah,
I'm out in public. You always tell me to keep my shoes on. I come in here and take them off.
And then of course they need to change their shoes out like 6 times because
Right. They never, because it has to be exactly fitted perfect for them to execute that perfect bowling shot, doesn't it? Just put the shoes on. If they're a
Yeah.
little too big, it's fine. You're only going to have them on for 30 minutes.
But yeah, it was.
I'm sorry you have to deal with that, man.
Well, it's not dealing with it. It's just shocking to me. It's just.
It's the same thing.
I'm sitting
every
there
time.
going because I'm trying to be the nicest. I'm the guy who you see first, so I know how to do customer service. I'm like, ma'am,
Man,
thank
you
you,
do.
whatever. But then I'm like, come on, guys, and especially if there's a group of like 10 people, that could take 5 minutes for everyone to figure out. I literally had to ask people. I go, here's the deal. I'm gonna put you on lane 10. I want everyone to go to lane 10, and I want you all to come up to me individually when you figure out your shoe sizes.
Yep. It's tough, man. It's tough out there.
What's even better is when they don't know how to read their shoe sizes, they just bring their shoe to me, and they're like, here's my shoe. And
You're like, too big, too small? Come on, fill in the blank here.
And I was like, I guess I could just sit there and compare, like, what size is this? But no, it is kind of shocking that the people in this world don't know their own shoe sizes, and then, their children's. And the only one response I got the whole holiday break was the grandfather. Because the grandfather is spending time with his grandkids, and he just straight up goes, "Man, that's a question I do not know the answer to. I'm just trying to hang out with my grandkids. So give me a second." He did what I think any reasonable adult. He picked up those grandkids, went over to the table, sat down with them, looked at their shoe.
But again, he didn't know. Like, you just appreciate the fact that he was admitting it.
Yeah. And it wasn't looking at me like I was asking him, like, what's EM equals
not
squared
staring,
or whatever.
right. Not staring down at their
equals
feet like their shoes are going to talk to him. Hey, man, I'm a size 12.
Yeah, it's just so funny. And then
E equals MC
that's
squared,
one thing I really appreciate working at the bowling alley is the amount of different people I run into, and then just the ridiculousness of some of their attitudes. And another thing I really like what they do is the price. So, like, it's always like, that's really expensive. And then I'm like, is this guy going to try to negotiate the price with me right now? Let's see if he does it.
Yeah, this is not a car dealership.
And, yeah, it happens all the time. And I go, like, did you not expect to spend money today? Like, is that, like, you're going to a bowling alley. My ongoing joke with them is like, oh, maybe there's a better price at Bolero. I would check out Bolero.
Yeah, which, of course, we know is probably not the case. But hey,
it's like
now they're never going to sponsor us.
It's like quadruple the price.
Oh yeah, they are quite hefty on the price. Hey man, I know that you might be approaching 40, but you're looking pretty darn good. Do you have a skincare routine? A
lot of people have been telling me that.
Yeah,
lately.
Do you lotion? Do you put on lotion on your face or
no? Dude, as you can
do you
tell,
put the cucumbers on your eyes at night?
I don't know if you can see it. I have a rash. Going from my nostril down my beard. I found out it's because when I'm just sitting there,
constantly touching your face.
I do. Yeah, I just do this number right
like
here.
You have Fu Manchu, like the
and it's if you look at the rash, it's the perfect
line where keep your nasty fingers off your face, man.
Especially after going to the retina.
Yeah,
but no, I do not have a skin routine. I do have. I guess my only skin routine, I would say, if I'm going out on a date or whatnot, I do have a soap I use that's just for like getting that kind of clean.
Okay. Well, I was going to say
and then when I shower, I just use a bar soap.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say if you do use lotion, make sure you're not using the Delicia Drench Body Butter because they are under some scrutiny right now because one user claims their moisturizing cream attracts wolf spiders.
Nice.
I think this is pretty interesting. Yeah, it got to the point where they actually had to respond to this company and say, no, our cream does not actually attract spiders, but it's doing the rounds here. But this is a person, I don't even know what their name is, and I'm not going to give them their name, went online and said, hey, look, this thing will instantly attract spiders. And, of course, the possibility of putting some ingredients together that puts off the pheromones that attract an insect are probably fairly low, but that's all it takes is one sort of, quote, bad review to where the company actually has to respond. Of course, this post has millions and millions of hits. It says the reviewer implored people who are, quote, scared of wolf spiders to, quote, watch out because supposedly using the body butter would instantly attract one of the arachnids. Freaky, man. But I guess you wouldn't care because you're like, just a bug. Just a bug. Okay.
Yeah, dude. I've had a black widow on me, and I was like, oh, it's a black widow. Oh, I probably should get that off.
Yeah. This is apparently sold at Sephora, I believe. I know that's your go-to place for your creams and lotions. So, again, stay away from that unless you don't mind the wolf spiders.
I've only been to Sephora once.
Yeah, Sephora's, it's,
I took my nieces there, and I made the mistake of saying, you can get one thing.
It was like $50. Yeah. Yep. They're proud of it. Wolf spiders, I have to admit, are fairly intimidating looking. They can be kind of meaty, kind of big, but they're harmless. They do bite, but their bite is non-venomous. But I wouldn't want to put anything on my body that's attracting them. That's for darn sure.
That'd be a good joke.
Scary. Well, oh yeah, give somebody the lotion that you know.
Oh, by the way,
is terrified.
I do want to let you know that RFID or whatever metal strip you gave me.
Yes.
worked out.
Oh, thank you for bringing that back up. I was actually going to ask you what you did with that. So if the listeners aren't aware of what that is, I had a RF tag inside of a cap, and I was setting off alarms at all of the stores I was entering and leaving, and told the story here on the air a few weeks ago. Dick said, give me that piece because I have a plan for it. So what did you do with it?
I put it on a buddy's shoe.
Like at the bottom?
No, in the shoelaces.
Oh, okay.
area.
Oh, you just kind of reached over and put it down?
Slid
Yeah.
it in there.
And it worked, huh?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I still didn't tell him.
Well, it might be several weeks before he figures it
yeah.
out because it's white, and if his shoelaces
Well,
are white.
my thought process was, he should feel that eventually, like something's in his shoe, because eventually it's probably like slide over.
Right.
But I was like, that was the only place I could think of where I wasn't trying to put it on him at the time. Like I saw his pair of shoes, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. And
See,
then,
I thought you were going to put it in, like, say, Cindy's purse or something like that. That'd
no.
be so wrong. She'd never find it.
oh no, I know I like doing practical jokes, but I'm not a monster.
Oh, right. All right, well, I just thought I'd give the onesies a PSA. If you were out shopping at Sephora, be careful.
I did have a funny idea, though, is when I put it on a shoe, I go, I bet he's one of those guys that has, like, several pairs of shoes. So he might wear these today, but never wear them again, and then wear them, like, 3 weeks from now. And then be like, he goes to the store, goes off, and he's like, man, I got a weird day.
What the heck?
Today's a weird day.
So intermittent,
Yeah.
too. Yeah. Love it, man. Hey, are you the kind of guy that flips the bird to people? Say, let's just kind of keep it isolated to traffic. Are you the type guy who flips people off? Like if somebody cuts you off, or you flip the bird to them? Me neither.
I do a thing that's from, I saw it in a movie called Eastern Promises.
Uh-huh.
And it's a great movie. And he does this thing. I don't want to do it on screen because I really don't know what it means. It could be like really bad. I don't know.
And we're pretty big over in other parts of the world, so you never know.
He does the peace sign, but then puts it under his neck.
Don't have any idea what that could possibly mean.
And he looks at the person. It's like
it's
that.
his own personal.
So I don't know if that means
F you.
like,
I don't know.
I don't know if that means that, or it means like I'll kill you.
Yeah. Slice your throat, maybe.
Man, I don't know, but it really. I go, man, that's so hard. I go, I want to do that. If I'm mad, that's what I'm gonna do. Like that. Like
scratching my neck. Interesting.
Yeah.
No, I'm not the type of person to do this either. And I'm not going to sit here and say I've never done it because I'm sure that I have when I was younger. But I think the reason I don't, or I'm not inclined to flip the bird to someone, even if they have cut me off in traffic, is I'm scared of the repercussions. There's just too many crazy people out there. You flip somebody off, and next thing you know, they're tapping on your glass with a Glock,
This guy,
it's just not worth it.
This guy yesterday got mad at me because his ball was dirty.
I'm sorry. Context.
And
we're
at
talking
alley.
bowling ball. And
like he came up to me and like I personally did
you
it
have
to
a lot
him.
of bowling stories. Uh-huh.
Well, yeah, because I'm telling you, the holidays bring out the craziest people.
Yeah, okay. So he complained to you that his bowling ball was dirty. No, I got to ask you a question, though. Was it dirty, or was it just his perception?
Well, see what?
Because it's a relative term.
Well, okay, this is what's wild to me.
And was it dirty before you brought it in here, sir?
So this is his logic to get mad at me. This is why he got mad at me. He comes up to me and he came up to me several times to keep bowling. So he like get more games. He comes up to me before he's leaving. He's like, I'm about to leave, but I want to show you something. Pulls out the towel. He's like, I wash this towel every time before I bowl. And I'm like, okay. I'm like,
cool story, bro.
and it's dirty. He's like, it's dirty. And I go, okay. I kind of like chuckled. I was like, okay. He's like, now look at my ball. See how dirty it is? You know why it's dirty? And I was like, because you're at a bowling alley throwing a ball down a lane
that has oil on it into a machine that has grease. It's probably the ball wheel. That's typically where the dirt
I know,
comes from,
but it's but I was trying to like understand why he's mad at me for it.
So
and
I'm assuming you're going to say he flipped you off.
No,
right?
you
flipped him off. Come on, where's the story going?
Well,
it's got to be better than just dirty bowling
He
balls.
might have flicked me off because the way he was holding the ball.
Oh yeah.
He's like, you see what you did here? No, I don't think I've ever been flicked off. I might have.
That was going to be my next question. Has somebody flipped you off?
No,
that happens to me. I've had that happen a couple of times.
No one's really ever gotten like verbally upset with me. Maybe like I accidentally cut him off.
Yeah,
and I was like sorry, and you do the full like don't hurt me.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You ever wave at people, thank you when they let you in?
Oh, hell yeah, every time.
That's a very courteous move of you. I try to do the same thing. Thank you. Thank you. So that
No,
let them know how appreciative I am.
My thing I like to
just
do
zipper merged
if
without
I get
death.
if I get actual eye connection to them,
Oh yeah.
I do the little
Oh yeah, and then you flip them your Tinder profile name real quick.
my phone number. I got that I got that laminated in my car. I'm like, here you go. Like, look at this piece of paper. Here's my phone number.
My handle's tonsil stuff 347. Yeah. Well, anyways,
Mine's stuff my tonsils.
It got me thinking about the origins of the bird and why we call it flipping the bird. So I looked this up, and on oddfeed.net it said flipping the bird meaning came from ancient Greece. The first known use of flipping the bird was in ancient Greece, and Greek philosopher, Diogenes? I don't know my Greek philosophers.
I can't believe you don't.
Well, yeah, I know. He was born in 412 BC. He was one of the founders of Cynicism. Okay, and apparently he is sort of credited with the very first use of the finger. And I'm like, all right. But apparently, birds in general have been a symbol of distrust. And in Europe, they used to throw birds or use birds as a symbol of distrust and anger at people. And it's sort of somewhere along in the 1960s, the middle finger and calling it the bird sort of appeared. Or not appeared, but became synonymous with each other. So it hasn't really been called the bird for very long. So there you go. That's it. And you're staring. I love the stare afterwards. I thought you might find that fairly interesting, but I guess not.
I don't. Okay. Because I don't really flip the bird.
All right, let's move on to something you think might be a little bit more interesting. There was a man, this is from MSN, a man is accused of assault at a McDonald's because, quote, he was trying to deep fry his wife's coworker's face. Yeah, you get all that? Pretty crazy. So apparently there's a man, and I believe this man is a pastor in North Carolina. He's charged with assault last week after police say he put his hands around a McDonald's employee's neck and tried to dip his head into a deep fryer. Apparently his wife or girlfriend was complaining that they was disrespecting her, and so he marched on out of that church, went over there, and tried to make a deep fried face out of this guy. And my question immediately is, one, that's pretty wicked.
Yeah.
But my second thought is, if it occurred, he wasn't successful, do they change the oil afterwards? Or they just let it use it? Yeah. It's fine. How does that affect the taste of the fries?
McDonald's. No, actually, what I always wondered is I never really, and I probably is why I don't really have a lot of girlfriends, is when someone kind of tells me a story like that, like, oh, this guy or this happened to me, I always have that doubt in my mind. Like, did it really happen the way you think it happened? And so this guy got angry enough while listening and walked all the way to McDonald's. I'm like, where's Joseph? Which one of you is Joseph? And, Joseph's sitting there, had his terrible morning, got up late, or, he's tired, and he's like, oh, who's this guy? Yeah, I'm Joseph. What's going on? Whoa! And then, I'm going head first
into the fryer, yeah. He probably just should have exercised what the Brits did all those years ago and flipped the bird rather than dunking his face in
I'm more talking about somebody that gets that angry and drives in a car. I think that pastor really has some issues if he's going to carry his anger all the way based off someone's word.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I guess he trusts his wife implicitly. Because, I think I might need a little bit more proof than, honey, can you come over here and take care of this situation?
We've all been there, especially with, your friends and family.
But this is a man of God, too, right?
Well, then, again, the first reaction to me wouldn't be like, let's go throw this dude into a fryer. I'd be like, well, I'll speak to him. And I go, where's Joseph? I'm like, hey, man, I just want to understand the scenario. I've done that several times with people in my life, and usually I would say 9 times out of 10, it's not that big of a deal.
Right. I agree.
But then I get told, Richard, stop trying to fix everything.
Are you a fixer?
Well, I'm a person that doesn't deal with crap. So it's like, if I'm not going to listen to you dealing with your crap and let's do something about it if you're really that concerned.
I think you need to start hissing like a goose.
Well, you ever been told that? I still don't really understand that in psychology or whatever that world is of understanding and being present for people. Because you just need to let people vent. And I'm like, no, I don't vent. If I need to vent, I literally take care of it. Does that make sense?
I think so. I think I see where you're going.
A lot of people say like, "Oh, you should just let her vent or
Right.
let this person
Get it all out.
Get it all out." And I'm like, okay,
Let him dunk the person's head in the greasy oil. Let him get it out.
well,
it's good for him.
I don't know. Like, I always thought like that. Venting is perfectly healthy, but I also feel like venting all the time isn't. Mm-hmm. So it's like in increments. It's good to like yell and be like, "I'm angry at this situation," but then if it's every day. And it's like I'd be like I would start thinking you're just not taking care of yourself. Like you have to take care of it. You can't just say, "Oh, I hate John at McDonald's because he disrespects me every day." I'm like, well, if you're gonna complain about John more than twice, then do something about it.
And this person, maybe his wife had been complaining for quite some time, and he was tired of hearing her complain about it. So he said, "I'm going to go over there and take care of this."
I wish this was my wife's head.
Yeah, maybe he was pretending. Well, anyways, let's stay on this theme of pastor, but we're going to do this next story a little bit different. I thought I could just bring it up normally, but no. New year, it's time for a dick in the news. Now, this isn't a typical dick in the news where we do several stories. We're going to do a one and done, but I thought it would be much more funny to do a fill in the blank dick in the news. Are you ready to play?
See, I thought it'd be better if it was actually stories that had to do with like a person named Richard that's in the news.
Maybe this person's name is Richard, or it involves
or a male part in the news.
Stay tuned because here we go. A Czech Republic priest cuts off his own manhood because blank. A, he wanted to take his vow of celibacy to the next level. B, suffered from a tick bite that made him crazy. C, thought it would be a great prop to use during one of his sermons. Or D, recently had unholy thoughts and wanted to punish himself.
I mean, all of those sound legit.
Yeah.
They really do. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
I would go with the last one just because it's the safe answer.
I don't even remember what the last one was. Oh, to punish himself. He had some unholy thoughts about Sister Mary Catherine and said, I got to take care of this thing. Well, you are incorrect, sir, because he cut it off because he had a tick bite.
Dang.
And apparently ticks are known for doing this. They burrow in certain parts of your body.
Yeah, I've had ticks before.
And the crotch is one of the areas. Well, he received a tick bite, and one of the, side effects of a tick bite is you can start to lose your mind. There's a term associated with it, and I'm trying to find it real quick.
It's happened to me.
Are you on the effects of the tick bite right now?
It's still there. No, I remember when I was I was around like 12, and we went hunting, and I got a tick bite, and then like 3 days later we get home, and I'm like running a fever. My mom liked to say I was hallucinating, and she had no idea what was wrong with me, and I was like, she's like, what's changed? I was like, we went hunting, and she's like, and she started looking at my body. I'm really moly, by the way. So it was camouflaged, as you could say.
Oh, yes. Gotcha. You
And
didn't know which one was the offender.
Yeah,
but you found it.
We found a tick bite.
So it's called encephalitis, tick-borne encephalitis, also known as TBE, and it caused swelling of the brain of this Czech priest. And so I guess he kind of looked down, saw the swelling. No, the swelling of the brain, and cut off his own.
It was probably the
genitals.
vaccine he got.
Oh, yeah, it's always down to he got the jab, right?
He got the jab, dog.
So, yeah, no, that's pretty terrible. But they say there's anywhere between 500 and 1,000 cases in Europe per year. You don't think about ticks having that kind of effect on you, but certainly can. Yikes. Yikes, man. Yikes.
I mean, ticks are pretty crazy.
They are pretty crazy. I think the golfer Jimmy Walker suffers from Lyme's disease. He and his wife after a tick bite, and he's a local Texas golfer here, and it has affected his ability to play, sadly.
Cool.
Yeah, man. Did you hear about the Mickey Mouse, and more specifically the
Steamboat Willie.
Steamboat Willie is now out and available in the public domain. The copyright has expired. I think this is a Disney's 1928 character that kind of comes out before a lot of their movies where he's whistling. Well, he was one of Disney's first incarnations of Mickey Mouse called Steamboat Willie. The copyright has run out on him, and wouldn't you know, the very day this happens, there is a myriad of films out there already using his likeness, most of which are not kid-friendly. Horror movies, I'm sure having Steamboat performing certain acts, I'm sure you could find that as well, unbecoming and not children favorite. But yeah, crazy. My question is, though, why did they only have a copyright that lasted so long? It seems like they would have done anything in their power to keep this in perpetuity. I didn't realize.
They did.
Is that why they were using him at the beginning, trying to keep it alive?
Well, that's why it's not. That's why it's not Mickey Mouse.
Steamboat Willie.
It's Steamboat Willie.
But I guess, and I guess the thought here is
they paid a lot of money to extend it,
and it didn't work.
No, it worked.
They extended it till this point. Okay,
and
so this was as long as they could drag it out, huh? But my thought is he such a recognizable character that you benefit from using his likeness immediately? Like some of these horror movies, they're probably real low budget, I guess.
Well, it's one of those things that the copyright law on one end is like it's very interesting because it exists for a reason, and you have Disney, who I don't know how many brands they have.
They own a lot.
Yeah, but like Mickey Mouse, like you said, everyone knows who Mickey Mouse is. And so if you make a horror movie with Mickey Mouse, I don't think it'll really damage the look of Mickey Mouse.
Right. I wouldn't think so either.
It's just kind of like, but Mickey's still Mickey when you go to Disney World. It's not like they're changing Mickey to have fangs or something.
Right.
So,
but I think it's funny that these things were released like practically the day the copyright was over, which means they had already produced these, just waiting for this thing to expire so they could make their horror flicks. You going to go see some of these? I'm trying to find the name of some of these.
No.
No, I'm not saying any of the names just yet. A second Steamboat Willie horror film directed by Stephen Lamort was announced Tuesday via press release and will start production in the spring of 2024. It's like, dude, it's already been done. Get an original idea. And well, hey man, have you ever? We're gonna get kind of personal here. We're probably after the 55-minute mark now.
We're almost there.
Almost there. Have you ever slept in the nude? I don't believe we've covered this. You have. Are you a frequent nude sleeper? No, I can't do it, man. I feel way too vulnerable, I guess. I don't know. I feel odd doing it. So
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's.
I gotta have that layer of polyester protection around my body.
I don't know if it's a psychological thing, but like if I don't sleep with a T-shirt on,
how about T-shirt no pants? That's you rock that look?
And underwear.
Okay.
But if I don't sleep with a T-shirt on, that like I wake up in sweats,
which seems counterintuitive, right? And simply can be the other way around.
Yeah, and I can't wear long sleeve shirts to bed. It has to be like a short shirt. It has to be like a T-shirt.
How about kind of fairly loose? How about if it's tight?
I don't really have tight shirts.
Because, well, some of them probably fit tighter than others. Because I've noticed that if the shirt is too loose and I kind of turn on it, it gets twisted. And then but if the shirt is too tight, it's uncomfortable. There's a perfect medium for the sleep shirt.
Well, I mean, I have a...
You don't know until you try it out.
I have a pile of shirts I sleep in.
They are designated as sleep shirts. Unless you're hammered, and that's anything you happen to be wearing when you pass out.
And I feel like doo-doo when I sleep in a collared shirt or something. I'm like, I don't want to...
There is something demoralizing, I'll say, about waking up the next morning and you have your jeans on, and even worse, if your shoes are still on. There's something about where you look yourself in the mirror and go, do I have a problem? Is the problem me? I didn't even take my clothes off. Has happened to me.
Well, the worst is when
probably once.
The worst is when
sadly.
And I encountered this weekend.
Anytime recently, thank goodness.
When you leave your socks on for so long that the hair on your feet get pushed down to the point where they haven't moved, so you get that kind of little
itchy feeling.
Yeah, and it actually becomes painful.
That happened to me last night.
Oh.
It's cold, so I've been sleeping in socks. And about sometime in the middle of the night, my feet started to hurt, so I had to take those things off. Because, same thing. You're like, but I didn't have them on for very long. I mean, it was just, I put them on as I went to bed, and sometime in the middle of the night, it did not feel too comfortable. Yeah. Well, apparently from healthline.com, they have outlined 10 benefits to sleeping in the nude. Dick, so you may want to reconsider this. Number one, it helps you fall asleep faster. Your body temperature is key to how you will sleep, and it's actually part of your circadian rhythm. And that's the biological rhythm that acts as your body's sleep clock, for those of you who don't know. Number 2, better sleep quality. Okay, so I guess they're thinking that you sleep at a slightly cooler temperature. Anywhere between 60 and 67 is an ideal temperature. And without those clothes on, your body's able to sleep more, I guess, securely, comfortably, deeper. I don't know. Number 3, it also claims to keep skin healthy. Why do you think that is, Dick?
Yeah, you're perspiring more? I don't.
Well, no, I thought so too. I thought maybe it had something to do with the fact that the material was rubbing up against your skin. No, this is just, again, showing that if you're getting better sleep, your skin is more healthy. And again, stay away from that Sephora bug cream. I mean, maybe they shouldn't have named it butter, right? Any cream that's got the name butter, I mean,
Well, everyone has that kink.
everybody loves butter.
Everyone has that kink, too. It's like, I got to rub his butter on me.
Yeah. Reduce stress and anxiety. Number 5, prevent weight gain. There are so many benefits to sleeping in the buff here.
Is one of them is you're always ready?
Well, now we're getting to the good stuff. Number 7 is it promotes vaginal health. I know you're very concerned about the health of that area of your body.
It's a little biome.
That's correct. And apparently clothes rub up against them overnight and can cause irritation and knock your pH balance out, Dick. So in an effort to promote vaginal health, sleep nude. And number 8, it increases male fertility. That's right. Women aren't the only ones who benefit from sleeping in the nude, but a recent study of 656 males suggested a link between wearing tight-fitting underwear and low counts of the marchers. So it increases male fertility. It also helps boost self-esteem. I guess if you've got more fertility, you're going to feel better about yourself. And number 10, of course, it improves your relationship. Because if she's got a healthy one and you got a healthy one, things are going in the right direction.
Man, you find the weirdest list, man.
I don't know how weird it is as much as it's interesting. This is, hey, look, AOO show out there to help the onesies. This is the Health Minute.
Well, I'm not going to try to sleep nude because I already know I'll feel uncomfortable. So I'm not going to do that.
Well, then be unhealthy. All right, quick hit here at the end of the show. Were you aware of the man, Dr. Tom Aberry? That name's ring a bell at all?
Yeah, totally know who that is.
Absolutely. Well, apparently he died in 2017 at the age of 94. But at one point in the 1990s, he held the record for the most consecutive free throws. Free throws in basketball.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty cool, right? How many in a row do you think you could make, Dick?
Like 3.
3.
If that.
I think I had somewhere in the 40s once, but I think now, since I'm out of practice, anywhere over 10 to 15 is probably where I would max out at. Well, anyways, he made history. He's a California podiatrist, or was a California podiatrist, who made 2,750 consecutive free throws. That's a lot in 1993. Since then, it's been subsequently just smashed. But the reason why he stopped at 2,750 is kind of funny. Apparently, this took 12 hours for him to complete. But while he was in the middle of doing this, the janitor came in and said, "I need to lock up." Turned the lights out and locked up and said, "This is over. I got to go home." So Tom Aberry said that he could have completed a significant amount more, but had to go home.
That's funny.
I would have been pissed, man. It seems like I would have said, "All right, let's set aside. Just hand me the keys. I'll lock up." And who was keeping count, by the way?
So he could just be lying the whole time.
Could have been. No, I guess the janitor was probably his verification, if I had to guess.
Fair enough.
Oh, well. Hey, man, that's all we have got time for this week, Dick. It's been a great show.
Well,
I hope you recover.
We want to give some heads up to our fans out there. We do have some exciting things happening this year.
Yeah, we do.
We're getting, he said he'll be on.
Yeah, we may have some guests in the upcoming episodes.
Talking about food. One of the guests has to do with food.
So that's new and exciting.
And he reviews food on
You've said food a lot.
Social media. Mm-hmm. I'm going to talk to him about how much he doctors his photos. And
yeah, hopefully we'll get we're talking about Petty Eddie. Hopefully we'll have Petty Eddie on in the next few weeks.
He's a good guy.
If not, we'll squeeze him in sometime soon.
Very positive about the local area. And one thing I do enjoy about him on the social media is he always finds spots I never knew existed. And I guess that he's doing his job. as a I don't know what he calls him, like he didn't call.
Food blogger.
Is he call himself a food blogger?
Indeed. Maybe we'll just have to ask him what he calls himself.
And then if you guys want to be a guest on the show, you better be interesting. And if you're rich, you can pay us. So we're there. We do take donations and sponsorships. And I'm excited about this new year, man. New year, new me.
Yes, drink more water. That's my New Year's resolution. Drink more water.
My New Year's resolution was eat more consistently.
Nice. And flip the bird off more regularly.
Yeah. Especially if they don't deserve it and it's like a grandma. Right?
Even better.
It's like, get out of my way, grandma. You've been listening to Audience of One here on Lone Star Community Radio. We'll see you next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Don't forget, we're on YouTube, Facebook. Just look up Lone Star Community Radio. We do have a podcast. Just look up Audience of One Show. We're right there on most of the podcasts. All Andrew and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know what corners he's putting us on, selling us, dingling us in front of some people. But Andrew, it was good to see you.
Nice seeing you too, buddy. Next week.
See you guys.